She just wanted to see her daughter smile and bought 2 tickets to the concert of America's teen idol. But after losing her daughter in the crowd at the end of the show, she wandered into a random diner and, without knowing it, shared a table with the famous singer himself. He was in disguise, weary of fame, and there he found in her something he hadn't seen in years: truth. Days later, their romance becomes a national scandal, and a secret from her past explodes like a bomb on social media. What seemed like a fairy tale turned into a public trial. Before finding out what he did in the face of all this, comment below from which city you're watching and leave a like to support our channel. The November sun beat down on Los Angeles, its heat clinging to the skin like a promise of a long night ahead. Laura, at 42, adjusted her simple yet elegant navy dress as she navigated the crowded sidewalk toward the arena. This wasn't her scene. The deafening noise, the flashing lights that seemed to pulse with a hypnotic rhythm, the swarm of teenagers screaming with unrestrained fervor. But her daughter Ava's smile, at 15, was worth every sacrifice. It was Ava's birthday, a milestone Laura wanted to make unforgettable, even if it meant enduring a night that felt more like a test of endurance than fun. Laura carried the scars of a divorce that still stung, though she never let it show. Her ex-husband, with whom she'd shared nearly 2 decades, had traded her for a younger woman, a social media influencer who seemed plucked from a beauty ad. He'd never hidden his preference for youth and flash, parading his new wife at glitzy events, while Laura, a talented architect, chose to rebuild her life with quiet dignity. Being a single mum wasn't easy, balancing bills, her firm's projects, and a broken heart. But she never faltered. Ava was her strength, her reason to rise each morning, and this concert was proof that even in life's storms, Laura would find a way to make her daughter smile. As the sky turned golden, Laura gripped Ava's hand tightly, the tickets tucked safely in her purse. Buying them had been a splurge, a dent in her carefully planned budget. But when Ava unwrapped the gift that morning, her eyes sparkled like the city lights, and her squeal of joy echoed through their modest apartment. "Ethan Cole, Mom, seriously, his concert." Her reaction erased any doubt. Ethan Cole, America's 26-year-old pop sensation, drew crowds with his soulful voice, heartfelt lyrics, and charm that made teens swoon and parents like Laura roll their eyes. She didn't get the hype, but for Ava, he was everything. At the arena, the air thrummed with anticipation, the scent of sweet perfume and the heat of the crowd pressed against Laura. Ava, her dark hair loose and eyes alight with excitement, tugged her mom's arm. "Come on, Mom, we gotta get a good spot." Laura smiled, though the noise already made her head throb. "Easy, Ava, we'll get in. I'm not sprinting. I'm not 15 anymore." Ava laughed, and that pure sound made Laura forget her fatigue. Inside, the energy was electric. Colored lights sliced through the air, and the opening music shook the floor. Laura watched Ava sing every word, bouncing with friends they'd met in line, and for the first time in months her heart felt light. The divorce had forced her to start over, to face sleepless nights questioning her worth, but seeing Ava dance made it all worthwhile. Ethan Cole took the stage, and the arena erupted. He was taller than Laura expected, with an easy smile and a presence that commanded the crowd. She couldn't deny it. The guy had charisma. But to her he was just a singer, a distant idol who made Ava's heart race. The hours flew by and Laura, perched in the bleachers, ignored the ache of hard seats and the heat making her neck sweat. Ava was in bliss, singing until her voice cracked. When the concert ended with an encore that shook the arena, Laura felt relief mixed with pride. Mission accomplished, she thought, clapping politely, already planning the trek home. But the exit was chaos. The crowd surged toward the doors, pushing and shouting as teens snapped photos or chased rumors that Ethan Cole might appear. Laura held Ava's hand tightly, but in a blink, Ava slipped away in the throng. "Ava!" Laura called, her heart pounding. She pushed through the bodies, her voice lost in the noise. "Ava!" Her phone was useless in the spotty signal, and Ava's battery, as usual, was likely dead. Exhausted, panic rising, Laura reached the street. The cool night air eased the heat, but not her fear. She scanned the dispersing crowd for Ava's familiar face. Nothing. Her legs wobbled, but she refused to break. "She's fine," She just got lost, she told herself, trying to stay calm. She sent another text. Where are you? Call me, please. No reply. Her feet aching and worry mounting, Laura spotted a diner a few blocks from the arena. It was an old-school place, with neon lights and walls that seemed to hold decades of stories. She'd been there in her 20s, when LA felt like a dream and life hadn't yet demanded so much strength. She decided to go in, needing a moment to breathe and hope Ava would text. Maybe a bite to ease the anxiety gnawing at her stomach. The diner was packed with concert-goers, couples, and groups of friends laughing loudly. Laura found a small table by the window and sank into the chair, relieved to rest her feet. She ordered a coffee and a turkey sandwich, the same she used to get years ago when life was lighter. As she waited, her eyes wandered the room, memories of her ambitious younger self flooding back, dreams of a brilliant career, a lasting love. All so far away now. The diner door swung open, and a guy walked in, his face half hidden by a black baseball cap and a hoodie. He moved cautiously, like he wanted to blend in. Laura barely noticed, lost in worry about Ava. The waiter brought her coffee, its bitter aroma grounding her. She checked her phone again. Nothing. The anxiety grew, but she forced herself to breathe. She'll show up, she thought, willing it to be true. The guy in the cap hesitated in the middle of the diner, scanning the room. Every table was taken and he looked uncomfortable. Then his eyes landed on Laura, alone with her untouched coffee. He approached, his voice low and almost shy. "Excuse me, can I share your table? It's packed." Laura looked up, startled. He seemed young, maybe in his 20s, with a mix of confidence and caution. She gestured to the empty chair. "Sure, no problem." He sat, keeping his cap low, and ordered a turkey sandwich with onions, the same as Laura's. She found it odd but said nothing. They sat in silence, the diner's noise filling the gap. Laura checked her phone again, her heart tight. The guy noticed. "Waiting for someone?" he asked, his voice gentle, like he wanted to ease her tension. She sighed, eyes on her phone. "My daughter. We got separated at the concert." He tilted his head, curious. "Ethan Cole's show." Laura nodded, a faint smile breaking through. "Yeah, she's obsessed with him. I just came to make her happy." He grinned, something warm in his eyes. "And you, did you like it?" Laura laughed, shaking her head. "Not my thing. Too loud, too crowded. But she was so happy it was worth it." He seemed amused, his eyes glinting under the cap. "You know, sometimes these loud nights change everything. Ever think about that?" The question caught her off guard. There was a sincerity in his voice that made her pause. For a moment, she forgot her worry, intrigued by this stranger who seemed to see beyond the surface. The conversation flowed easily, almost naturally. He asked about Ava, what she loved, and Laura found herself opening up. She talked about Ava's birthday, how she'd saved for the tickets, her life as a single mom. He listened without interrupting, and for the first time in years, Laura felt truly heard. "What about you?" she asked, shifting focus. "Why are you here alone after a concert?" He hesitated, his smile turning shy. "I like this place. Reminds me of simpler times." Laura frowned, curious, but before she could ask more, her phone buzzed. It was Ava. "Mom, I'm outside. Sorry, my phone died, but I got a charge." Relief flooded Laura like a wave. She stood, nearly knocking over her coffee. "My daughter, I gotta go." Without thinking, she grabbed a napkin, scribbled her number, and handed it to him. "Cover my coffee? I'll pay you back tomorrow. Call me, and I'll send the money." He took the napkin, surprised, and smiled. "Only if we can keep talking somewhere quieter." Laura didn't reply, already rushing out, her heart racing, not just from finding Ava, but from something she couldn't name. Outside, Ava waited, her face flushed from dancing. "Mom, it was the best night ever," she said, hugging Laura tightly. Laura laughed, holding her daughter close, but her mind lingered on the diner, on the stranger who'd made her feel something she thought she'd forgotten. As they walked to the bus stop, she glanced back at the diner's glowing window. Who was he? And why, without knowing his name, did she feel that night wasn't over? The morning after the concert dawned with a grey sky, as if Los Angeles held a secret Laura couldn't yet unravel. She brewed coffee in their small apartment's kitchen, the bitter scent mixing with the quiet while Ava slept. Laura held her mug, but her thoughts drifted to the stranger in the diner, to the napkin with her number. Something about that moment stirred her. Like a door she'd kept locked was creaking open. At 42, after a divorce that made her doubt her worth, Laura had learned to live without surprises. But now a spark of curiosity burned, and she wasn't sure if she wanted to douse it or let it grow. Ava shuffled downstairs, hair messy, eyes heavy with sleep. "Mum, last night was the best day of my life. Ethan Cole was amazing," she said, flopping into a chair. Laura smiled, sliding her a slice of pancakes. "I'm glad, Ava. Seeing you like that made it all worth it." The day passed in a blur of routine. Laura dove into work, reviewing architectural plans with her usual precision. At the office, amid blueprints and meetings, she was a rock, a woman who didn't let the past define her. But in the afternoon, her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Hey, it's the diner guy. Still owe me that coffee. How about paying me back with a chat?" Her heart skipped and she scolded herself for it. Who was he? Why did a simple text shake her world? She hesitated, fingers hovering over the keyboard. "Don't be ridiculous, Laura," she thought. But something about that encounter, his attentive eyes, the way he seemed to see her, made her want to reply. After a moment, she typed, "Guess I do owe you that coffee. Send me your Venmo and I'll cover it." His reply was quick. "I'd rather you pay me in person. Want to keep talking if you're up for it." Laura's stomach flipped. "Who are you anyway? Why so keen on talking to me?" His response came fast. "Just someone who liked what he saw in the diner. Meet me at 6 p.m., Corner Brew on Melrose." "I'll be there." Laura stared at the text, her gut churning. It was crazy, but against all reason she replied, "Okay, see you there." By 5, she was home, swapping her work blazer for a light blouse and jeans that made her feel younger. Ava, sprawled on the couch with her phone, looked up. "Mom, you look nice. Where you going?" Laura hesitated, torn between protecting Ava and being honest. "Just meeting someone for coffee, Ava. Won't be long." Ava raised an eyebrow, skeptical. "Someone? I'm watching you." Laura laughed, kissing Ava's forehead before heading out, her heart beating in a rhythm she didn't recognize. Corner Brew was a cozy spot, with exposed brick walls and the sweet scent of fresh pastries. Laura arrived early, picking a table by the window to watch Melrose Avenue's bustle. Her nerves made her fingers tap the table, and she questioned why she'd agreed to this. "It's just coffee," she told herself, but her anticipation betrayed her. The door opened and he walked in. No cap, no hoodie. Just a guy in jeans and a white shirt, brown hair tousled, a smile that lit up the room. Laura froze. That face, she knew it. "You're Ethan Cole?" she asked, her voice shaking. He sat across from her, his smile shy. "Yeah, but please call me Ethan. No star stuff today." Laura felt the world tilt. Ethan Cole, the singer who'd made Ava scream herself hoarse, was here, looking at her like she was the only one in the room. She stood, panic rising. "This is a mistake. I don't belong in your world." Ethan gently took her hand, his touch warm and steady. "Stay, Laura. Just coffee. I want to know you, not what you think of me." Reluctantly, Laura sat, her mind a whirlwind. He was young, famous, untouchable, but his sincerity disarmed her. "Why me?" she asked, almost to herself. Ethan tilted his head, eyes locked on hers. "Because last night, in that diner, you treated me like a person, not a poster. I haven't felt that in years." His words hit something Laura had buried, the loneliness her divorce left, the sense of being invisible. For the first time in ages, someone saw her. The coffee stretched into 2 hours of talk. Ethan shared stories of his childhood in Seattle, singing in small bars, the weight of fame. "People love Ethan Cole, but no one asks who I am off stage," he said, his voice tinged with a melancholy that surprised her. Laura let slip pieces of her own story. The divorce, raising Ava alone. The strength she'd found when her ex traded her for someone else. "He made me feel like I wasn't enough," she admitted, startled by her own openness. Ethan listened, then said, "He was a fool. You're more than enough, Laura. You're extraordinary." When they left, night had fallen, and Melrose glowed with neon. Ethan put on a cap and sunglasses to blend in, and walked her to her Uber, the cool air carrying the promise of rain. "I want to see you again," he said, his voice firm but hopeful. Laura hesitated, her heart torn. "Ethan, this is impossible. You're young, your life's a world I don't get, and I have Ava." He smiled, undeterred. "Impossible's just a word. Give me a chance to prove it's not." Before she could answer, he added, "Think about it. I'll call tomorrow." Laura got in the car, her heart racing, her mind spinning. As LA's lights blurred past, she caught herself smiling. Ethan Cole, with his fame and distant world, had stirred something she thought was dead, but fear crept in. Was this a mistake? Was she setting herself up for pain like before? Over the next few days, Ethan didn't let up. His texts were short, playful, making Laura laugh despite herself. "Still thinking about that coffee. Next one's on me." "Saw a cool building today, thought of you, architect," she replied cautiously, keeping distance, but each message cracked that door wider. A week later, he pushed for another meeting, this time dinner at a low-key spot in Silver Lake, where dim lights and spaced-out tables felt almost too intimate. Laura chose a white dress that highlighted her hazel eyes, and in the mirror, she felt a mix of excitement and guilt. "It's just dinner," she muttered, but her trembling hand said otherwise. At the restaurant, Ethan waited, relaxed in a grey shirt that showed off his broad shoulders, his smile just for her. "You look beautiful," he said, and Laura's cheeks burned. "Stop it," she said, trying to keep it light, but his gaze undid her. Dinner felt like a dream Laura feared would end. Ethan spoke of fame's exhaustion, feeling trapped in a persona. "Ever feel like you're living for others?" he asked, and Laura nodded, thinking of the times she'd dimmed herself for her ex, for Ava, for work. "It took me years to learn I deserve happiness too," she said softly. Ethan reached across the table, his touch brief but electric. "You do, Laura, and I want to remind you of that." As they left, the night was chilly, and Laura shivered. Ethan draped his jacket over her shoulders, a gesture so natural it stopped her. They walked to his car, parked on a quiet street, laughing over a story about a botched early gig. But a camera flash cut through the dark. A paparazzo, hidden nearby, caught them. Ethan Cole and an unknown woman, smiling, his jacket around her. Laura didn't notice, but Ethan did, his face hardening briefly. "Let's go," he said, opening the car door. He drove her home, kissed her cheek, and said, "Take care, okay?" He knew that flash would spark a firestorm. The next morning, Laura's world collapsed. Her phone buzzed endlessly, texts from friends, co-workers, strangers. "Laura, is that you in the photo?" Confused, she opened a gossip site and saw the headline, "Ethan Cole's mystery older woman. Who is she?" The picture showed them leaving the restaurant, her smile, his jacket. Below, vicious comments. "Too old for him. Gold digger. She looks like his mom." Laura's hands shook as she dropped the phone. Ava burst into her room, face pale, clutching her phone. "Mom, is it true you're with Ethan Cole?" Her voice mixed shock and hurt. Laura's mouth opened, but no words came. "Ava, it's not what it looks like." Ava shook her head, eyes welling. "Why didn't you tell me? Everyone at school's laughing at me." Before Laura could reach her, Ava slammed her bedroom door. The phone rang. It was Ethan. "Laura, I saw the photo. I'm so sorry, I didn't want this. We'll fix it, I promise." His concern didn't ease the panic choking her. Alone, Laura sank onto her bed, the world's weight on her shoulders. How had a night of laughter turned into a nightmare? How could she shield Ava from this cruelty? And Ethan, was he a mistake she'd pay for? Or a chance at something she never dared dream? The doorbell rang and Laura froze. Who could it be now? The doorbell's chime cut through the apartment, sharp as a blade. Laura rose, still shaken from the flood of messages and Ava's hurt. She crossed the living room, the cold floor under her bare feet, and hesitated before opening the door. It was Rachel, her best friend since college, holding a grocery bag and wearing a mix of worry and resolve. "Laura, I saw the news. You okay?" she asked, stepping inside without waiting. Laura sighed, closing the door. "No, Rachel. I'm not okay. The internet's tearing me apart. Ava's mad at me, and I don't even know how this happened. Rachel set the bag on the table, pulling out juice and a pack of cookies. Sit, eat something, then tell me everything. Her firm voice was a lifeline, and Laura sat, trying to gather her thoughts. As Rachel made a quick snack, Laura poured out the story: the diner encounter, coffee with Ethan, the dinner that felt like a dream until the leaked photo turned it sour. I didn't ask for this, Rachel. He was just a guy in a diner, and now the world's judging me for something I don't even understand. Rachel listened, her eyes steady, then took Laura's hand. You didn't do anything wrong. You're living, finally. After what that jerk of an ex put you through, you deserve this. Laura shook her head, guilt heavy. But Ava, she's hurting because of me. Before Rachel could reply, Laura's phone buzzed. It was Ethan. Rachel urged her, "Answer it. He's trying to help." Laura answered, her voice shaky. "Laura, I'm so sorry for this mess," Ethan said, his voice raw with guilt. "Let me see you. We need to talk." Laura's chest tightened. "Ethan, I don't know if I can handle this. I'm old enough to be your mom. Ava's upset. People are saying awful things." He cut in, firm. "I know, and I'll help fix it. Meet me tonight, same restaurant, 8 p.m. Just us." Laura wavered, but his convictions swayed her. "Okay," she said softly. That afternoon, Laura tried talking to Ava, knocking on her door. "Ava, please let me explain." Silence, then a sharp reply. "I don't want to talk, Mom. Everyone at school's mocking me because of you. They say you're just after a famous guy." The words cut deep. Laura wanted to push, but knew Ava needed space. Her phone kept buzzing with cruel comments, fake concern from colleagues, even an email from a major client cancelling a meeting. "This can't be happening," she whispered, her world shaking. That night, Laura put on a simple coat and headed to the Silver Lake restaurant. The place was quieter, its soft lights mirroring her unease. Ethan waited at a back table, his face tense but softening when he saw her. "You came," he said, standing to hug her. "I'm so sorry about last night, Laura. I didn't know there was a photographer." She sat, staring at the table. "Ethan, this is ruining my life. Ava won't even talk to me." He took her hand, his touch steady. "I know, and I feel awful. But we can face this together. I'm not leaving you alone." Laura pulled her hand back, her chest tight. "You don't get it. I'm a mom. Ava's my world, and she's suffering. I can't just ignore that." Ethan leaned forward, eyes intense. "I get it, Laura, but what we're starting, it's real. You felt it. I know you did." She looked away, his words stirring something she tried to bury. "I felt it, Ethan. But that doesn't change the world judging me. They call me old, a gold digger. How do I fight that?" He paused, then said, "You don't fight alone. Let me help." Laura wanted to argue, but his gaze softened her. They talked for hours, Ethan opening up about fame's toll, the loneliness of being a star. "You make me feel normal, Laura. Like I can be myself, not what they expect." She listened, torn between warmth and fear. "Ethan, I'm 42. My life's messy. Yours is a whirlwind." He grinned, lighting up the room. "Then we ride the whirlwind together. Deal?" Laura laughed despite herself, a flicker of hope sparking. But as they left, Ethan pulled her into a shadowed corner, away from prying eyes. "We need to be careful now. But I'm not giving up on you." He kissed her there first, sealing the rumors in a moment of truth. The next day, the nightmare deepened. At work, Laura got an email from a key client cancelling a major project. Reason: image concerns. Her blood ran cold. At lunch, she opened her phone to more venom. Opportunist. Cradle robber. He deserves better. Each word was a blow, and she fought to stay upright. Before she could reply to the client, Ethan called. "Laura, I know it's rough, but I have a plan. Meet me tomorrow at my studio. We'll turn this around." She hesitated, the weight of judgment crushing her. "Ethan, I don't know if I can." His voice was steady. "You're stronger than you think. I'm with you." Laura hung up, conflicted but resolute. She'd survived a divorce, rebuilt her life. The internet wouldn't break her. But as she reached for her phone to text Ethan, a new notification appeared. An anonymous video posted online titled, "The Truth About Ethan Cole's Girlfriend." What more could the world throw at her? And how would Ethan convince her to keep going? The notification cast a heavy silence over the apartment, as if the air held secrets ready to burst. Laura gripped her phone, heart pounding, mustering the courage to open the video sweeping social media. She took a deep breath, the faint scent of cold coffee on the table nearby, and clicked play, knowing nothing would be the same. The screen flickered with a distorted voice narrating "The Woman Who Fooled Everyone." Old photos, scanned documents, and a grainy image of a young Laura, eyes lost, appeared. The voice revealed her secret, buried for 25 years. At 17, Laura had been pregnant and, under family pressure, gave the baby up for adoption. She hid the truth from those she loved most, the narrator said, cutting to the photo of Laura and Ethan leaving the restaurant. Does Ethan Cole know who his new girlfriend really is? Laura felt the world collapse. Only her late parents and her ex-husband knew that secret. How had it surfaced? She dropped the phone, hands shaking, and rushed to the bathroom, nausea rising. The mirror showed a pale, pained face, haunted by a past she'd fought to leave behind. At 17, Laura had been a scared teen, forced by her strict father to give up her child to avoid family shame. She'd complied, carrying the guilt like a shadow ever since. Her ex-husband, whom she married years later, had weaponized that secret in fights, but never exposed it. Until now. Her phone buzzed again. Ethan. Fear gripped her, dreading his judgment, but she answered, voice weak. Ethan, did you see it? His voice was firm yet tender. I saw it, Laura. I'm coming to your place. Don't face this alone. She wanted to protest, to push him away, but couldn't. Okay, she whispered. While waiting, Laura knocked on Ava's door, heart heavy. Ava, please, open up. I need to explain. Silence. Then the door creaked open, revealing Ava's red, tear-streaked face. Mom, is it true you had another kid? The question stung, but Laura held her gaze. Yes, Ava, I was 17. I had no choice. My parents, they made me give him up. Ava stood silent, shock and confusion mixing. Why didn't you tell me? She asked, voice breaking. Laura exhaled, the past flooding back. It hurt too much, and I wanted to protect you. Before Ava could reply, the doorbell rang. Ethan stood there, worry etched on his face but eyes fierce with resolve. He stepped in, hugging Laura tightly, his warmth a shield against the chaos. I saw the video, Laura. It doesn't change how I feel about you. She pulled back, stunned. Ethan, how can you say that? They're destroying me, calling me a liar. He cupped her face, eyes locked on hers. I know what it's like to carry a void. I was adopted too. I grew up not knowing my birth parents, but with love from my adoptive ones. You're not a lie, Laura. Your strength, love, truth. Laura's eyes welled, but she held back, glancing at Ava, who watched in awe, barely believing her idol stood in their living room, defending her mom. Ethan continued, voice soft. You don't owe me an explanation, Laura, but if you want, I'll help you tell your story. Truth always finds a way. Ava stepped forward, hesitant. Mom, you went through that alone? Laura nodded, voice thick. I did, Ava, and it broke me for years. To her surprise, Ava rushed to her, hugging tightly. You're always there for me, Mom. This just shows how strong you are. The moment broke when the doorbell rang again. Laura froze, fearing more bad news. Ethan opened the door, revealing her ex-husband, Mark, with a cold smile she knew too well. Laura, we need to talk about Ava. And you know what? His tone dripped venom, and Laura's blood ran cold. How dare you, Mark? Only you knew, she shouted, fury erupting. He shrugged, eyes glinting with malice. You think you can play fairy tale with this pop star? I just showed the truth. Ethan stepped forward, voice steely. Get out. You don't control her anymore. Mark laughed but backed off, tossing a final glare at Laura. This isn't over, sweetheart. When the door shut, Laura sank onto the couch, overwhelmed. Ethan sat beside her, holding her hand. He won't hurt you again, I promise. Ava joined them, hugging her mom tightly. I'm with you, Mom, no matter what they say. That night, as Laura processed the chaos, Ethan proposed a plan. Let's tell your story, Laura, not their garbage, but the truth. You're stronger than they know. Fear of more exposure froze her, but seeing Ava's proud smile and Ethan's unwavering gaze lit a spark of courage. "Okay," she said firmly, "but how?" Ethan grinned, determination in his eyes. "Leave it to me. I've got an idea to shut them up." But as he spoke, Laura's phone buzzed with a new message. An invite to a live TV interview on a major talk show, wanting to clear up the scandal. Was it her chance to reclaim her voice, or another trap? And what else did Mark have up his sleeve? Morning sunlight filtered through the apartment's curtains, casting a soft glow on the table where Laura sipped her coffee, its warmth a fleeting comfort amid days of turmoil. The viral video lingered like a shadow, but the TV interview invite from the night before sparked both hope and dread. She knew accepting meant baring her soul to the world, but Ethan's words echoed, "Let's tell your story, Laura. The truth always finds a way." She took a deep breath, resolved. It was time to face the storm. That afternoon, Laura sat with Ava on the couch, heart heavy. "Ava, I'm doing the interview. I want to tell the truth, for you and everyone." Ava looked at her, eyes shining with something new, pride maybe. "Mom, I talked to Dad this morning," she said hesitantly. "I told him to leave you alone for me. He chose his life, so he needs to deal with it and stop hurting you." Laura's throat tightened. "What did he say?" she asked softly. Ava shrugged, a small smile breaking through. "He said he'll live his life. I think he got it." Relief washed over Laura like a warm tide. Mark, with his petty jealousy, had backed off, and Ava's strength, so young yet fierce, reminded her of what they'd built together. Laura hugged her daughter, the embrace easing the ache of recent days. "You're my rock, Ava. Always have been." Ava hugged back, whispering, "And you're mine, Mom." That night, the TV studio glowed with bright lights, the air humming with equipment and backstage tension. Laura wore a simple blue dress, its elegance reflecting her quiet strength, and took a deep breath before stepping onto the set. The host, a man with a warm voice and polished smile, greeted her with a handshake. "Laura, Ethan Cole's girlfriend, is it true? America's dying to hear your story, especially about that viral video claiming you gave up a child. Ready?" She nodded, heart racing, but thoughts of Ava and Ethan steadied her. "Under the spotlights," Laura began. She spoke of her youth, the pregnancy at 17, her parents' pressure to give up the baby. "I was a scared kid with no choice. I've carried that pain for 25 years, but I never stopped loving my son, even from afar." Her voice wavered, but she pressed on, sharing her divorce, her life as a single mom, and the chance meeting with Ethan. "I didn't plan this. I just wanted to make my daughter smile, take her to his concert. But I found someone who saw me for me, not what the world thinks." The studio audience, quiet at first, began to clap, and Laura's eyes welled. Then Ethan walked on stage, his shy smile at odds with his usual confidence. The host laughed, surprised. "Ethan Cole, what a treat." Ethan sat beside Laura, taking her hand. "The honor's mine. Laura's the strongest woman I know. And I get what she went through. I'm adopted too. I grew up not knowing my birth parents, but with so much love from my adoptive ones. Laura's not a lie, like they said. She's truth, courage, love." His words hushed the studio, then applause roared. Ethan looked at Laura, eyes shining, and said into the mic, "I love this woman, and I won't let anyone hurt her." Laura's heart stopped, tears falling as she squeezed his hand. In that moment, under America's gaze, their love became real, sealed by their shared bravery. The interview changed everything. Online, the cruel comments gave way to support. "Laura, you're an inspiration." "What a beautiful couple, live your truth." Ava's friends, once mocking, now crowded her at school, starstruck. "You're Ethan Cole's stepdaughter. So cool." Ava, who'd hidden before, beamed with pride, sharing stories of her mom and her famous stepdad. Laura, fearing she'd lose Ava, saw their bond grow stronger. Ava hugged her at night, saying, "Mom, you're my hero." Months later, life settled. Laura regained work contracts, her story of resilience winning back clients who'd shunned her. Ethan, always by her side, kept their relationship low-key but real, with quiet dinners at home and moments worth more than any spotlight. One afternoon, sorting papers at her desk, Laura opened her phone to a message from a 25-year-old named Ryan. Her heart stopped as she read, "Hi, Laura. I think I'm your son. I was adopted as a baby, and my parents told me the truth after your TV interview. I grew up happy, loved, but I want to meet you." Laura dropped the phone, tears streaming. Ava, walking in, rushed to her. "Mom, what's wrong?" Laura showed her the message, voice trembling. "It's him, Ava. My son." Ava read it, eyes wide, then grinned. "Mom, this is amazing. You're gonna meet him." Ethan, arriving for dinner, heard the story and hugged Laura. "You deserve this, love. We'll meet him together." That night, drafting a reply to Ryan, Laura felt her heart lighten, years of guilt dissolving. What began as a gift for Ava, concert tickets, had reshaped her life in ways she never imagined. She looked at Ethan and Ava, laughing in the living room, and knew that through every storm she'd found her happy ending. Spring in Los Angeles brought a warm breeze, scented with blooming jasmine from Griffith Park's gardens. Laura walked hand in hand with Ava, her daughter's touch grounding her as her heart raced. Today was the day, the moment she'd dreamed of and dreaded for 25 years. Ethan walked ahead, his stride steady, but his eyes checking on her with quiet care. "You ready, love?" he asked, voice soft as the wind. Laura squeezed Ava's hand, breathing deeply. "I don't think I've ever been more ready." The park buzzed with life, kids playing, couples strolling, a distant guitar strumming a gentle tune. Laura, Ava, and Ethan reached the meeting spot, a clearing framed by tall trees. Laura's heart pounded as she saw a young man on a bench ahead. He was tall, with curly brown hair and a kind smile that tugged at her chest. It was Ryan. He stood as they approached, hesitant but eyes bright with emotion. "Laura?" he asked, voice warm but shy. She nodded, speechless, tears already falling. Ava squeezed her mum's hand, urging her forward. "Go, Mum. I'm right here." Laura stepped closer, the world slowing. "Ryan, it's me," she said, voice thick. He smiled, a smile like hers, and opened his arms. Laura ran to him, her embrace holding 25 years of longing. "I never stopped thinking of you," she whispered, tears soaking his shirt. Ryan hugged back, voice shaky. "I know. My family told me everything. I just wanted to meet you." Ava joined the hug, laughing through tears. "I always wanted a brother," she said. And they all laughed, the sound blending with the park's birdsong. They sat on the bench, and Ryan shared his story. A happy childhood, loving adoptive parents, a job teaching music. "But I always felt something was missing," he admitted. "Now I know what it was." Laura listened, her heart healing with each word. She told Ryan about her tough years, the choice that wasn't hers, the love she never stopped feeling. "I prayed for you every night," she said, holding his hand, voice breaking. "I knew God was watching over you, making sure you were happy. I always believed he'd let me find you someday to see you well. I just didn't know how he'd do it." Ryan squeezed her hand, eyes shining. "You did it. I grew up loved, and now I'm here. That's what matters." As the sun set, painting the sky pink and gold, Laura, Ava, Ryan, and Ethan walked through the park, talking like time hadn't passed. They were an imperfect family, bound by ties fate couldn't break. Laura looked at Ethan holding her hand, and Ava, laughing with Ryan, and felt a peace she'd never known. The woman who'd bought concert tickets to see her daughter smile had found love blooming in the unlikeliest places. That night at home, Laura sat with Ethan and Ava, sharing stories and laughter. Ryan promised to visit again soon, and the promise filled Laura's heart with light. She gazed out the window at the starry sky, knowing that, after all the storms, she'd found her new beginning. The love, imperfect but true, had led her here. Laura's story shows us that we don't always understand life's paths. We despair, thinking it's the end, but it's God's work, preparing something better, a surprise that transforms the heart. In the toughest moments, faith is what sustains us. Believe, love and truth always prevail. Be strong, trust in your worth, and never give up on starting anew. What did you think of the story? Give it a rating from 0 to 10, leave a like, and subscribe to support our channel. Thank you, and see you in the next video.